Guys, winter is coming. And I don't know about you, but for me, that means it's time to clean all the junk out of the garage so I can get my cars back in there. And as I was cleaning out my garage over the last couple of weekends, I started thinking about all the mistakes I've made with garage organization. Today, I wanted to share with you those mistakes so you can avoid them. Hi, I'm Cindy from Smart Family Money. I help you learn how to shop smarter, save money, and save time so you can get back to changing the world. We moved into this house about 2 years ago, and we've never had the time to get our garage organized. And since we don't have an outdoor shed, we have to fit all of our lawn equipment in our garage, and we just don't have that much space to work with. So we have to be really careful using the space in our garage so that we can fit both of our cars in there. At the end of the video, I'll show you how the garage turned out. It was a whole lot of work, but I really love it. And as I spent these last couple of weekends working so hard in the garage, I really remembered all the things that we have done wrong in our multiple houses we lived in. We have made so many mistakes organizing garages, and I just wanted to record them so that I could remember and I could help you not make the same mistakes. The first mistake I've made repeatedly when trying to organize a garage is not emptying the garage all the way. There's a few reasons you really want to do that. One is you can finally do a good job of cleaning it. When it's completely empty, you can blow all the leaves out, get it a good sweeping, and really get it clean. But also, it helps you look at the garage as a blank slate. When you get everything out and you look at it with fresh eyes, you can really think about where things make sense to be stored and not just storing them where they've always been. And I don't know about you, but every house I've lived in has had things in the garage from the previous owners, and sometimes getting those out of there helps remind you that you need to just go. A lesson I've learned the hard way is don't forget to protect yourself when you're working in the garage. Garages tend to have a lot of sharp things, so it's a really good idea to wear work gloves to protect your hands and your nails when you're out there. Also, I realized that, especially when I'm using a broom or a leaf blower in the garage, if I wear a face mask, it can help keep all that dust out. And for somebody like me with bad allergies, it can really make a difference to keep that junk out of my lungs. So just don't forget to protect yourself when you're working in the garage. The next mistake that I can't seem to stop making is not allowing enough time to organize the garage. My husband and I thought this latest project was going to be maybe 1 day, maybe 2 days. It took us 4 full weekend days, plus several evenings. It took us forever to get the garage organized. I'm glad we finally got it done, but I really wished we'd been a little bit more realistic about how long it would take. I would say if yours is a mess, give it 2 full weekends at least. Something I think we can all relate to is storing things in the garage that really don't belong in there. We had some pretty wacky things in our garage, like an antique adding machine.
Why is this in the garage? It doesn't add up.
Before you get started organizing your garage, give it some real thought about what sorts of categories of things you want in your garage, depending on how you want to use the space. In this house, we have an unfinished basement for storage, so there's no reason to store things that don't belong outside in our garage. But in a previous house, we didn't have a basement, so our garage had to be all-purpose storage for things like Christmas decorations and everything. If you have that situation where you need to do a lot of storage in your garage, you might want to think about adding things like overhead racks that can hold large bins, and really thinking about how you're going to use it as a storage space and a useful space. Another thing you might want to consider is, are you going to use the garage for some sort of useful space, like maybe a workout area or a craft area, or you have a workshop for woodworking? If you're going to use it for one of those purposes, you're just going to have to make space in the garage for those kinds of things. For us, we really wanted to keep it down to only outdoor items were going to be out there. So lawn equipment, bikes, and outdoor toys was pretty much all that was going to be out there. And that helped us to narrow down which things belonged there and which things needed to go. A mistake I've made repeatedly when organizing your garage is not thinking about clearance. And I mean clearance in all 3 dimensions. If you're going to be walking through your garage, you have to think about having floor space to walk. You have to think about having horizontal space to swing car doors, and you need to think about having vertical space over your head. In the past, we had hung some of our bikes from the ceiling, and I really hated the feeling of having those so close to my head when we walked through the garage. If you're going to be getting in and out of cars in the garage too, you need to think about where those doors are going to swing. And if there is any chance of those car doors hitting walls or other cars or things in the garage, you might want to think about ways to protect them. You can use pool noodles to create a nice bumper if you have something that might get hit by a car door. Speaking of the vertical space, you definitely want to get things off the floor as much as possible, especially if you're trying to park cars in there. Some of the things you can think about are getting bikes off the floor. You can mount those on the wall. You can look at what things would make sense for mounting on your ceiling. Sometimes ladders can work well on the ceiling. Also, I had mentioned those overhead racks for bins are a great way to get a lot of extra storage in there. Think about hanging tools on the wall too. We did these sorts of things in our garage, and it just made the garage feel so much bigger. It really helped. I am totally easily distracted, and one of the traps I often fall into when we're cleaning the garage is getting distracted with all kinds of other projects, either cleaning things or fixing things or whatever is related to the things in the garage. When you're cleaning and organizing the garage, you have to stay focused on just that project because it is so easy to fall down other rabbit holes. This time around, we ended up having to fix the drain in our garage floor because it was falling apart and we were afraid someone was going to fall through it. It needed to be done, but it probably should have been done the weekend before we started organizing the garage. The next thing that I am totally guilty of is buying storage solutions before actually sorting out what you need to store. It's really tempting to go to Home Depot and see the nice big multi-pack of garage storage tools, but then you bring it home and you realize that you don't have the right number of hooks and things that you need for the actual items you have in your garage. So step 1 is figure out what you need to store. Step 2 is to buy hooks and bins and whatever you need to store those items. Speaking of storage solutions, if you have something unusual that you need to store, don't be afraid to look for solutions for that specific thing. We've had a wheelbarrow stored in our garage, and it's one of the most difficult things to store. And until I looked on YouTube for how to store a wheelbarrow, I had no idea that you could actually hang one on the wall. It's a great solution. It was like a $5 purchase to get the little piece to hang it on the wall, and it works great. This next mistake is totally crucial, and that's not thinking about which things you need to access easily in your garage. If you're trying to park your cars inside, it's going to be hard to get to some of the things in the garage, and you really don't want that to happen, especially if you're in a place that has winter snowstorms. I can't tell you how many times I haven't been able to get to my snow shovel when we were snowed in. That's ridiculous. So this time around, I made sure to mount that snow shovel right next to the door to the inside of my house so I could just grab it and use it anytime I need it. I can even use it in the backyard to dig out a little space for my doggy to go potty. And finally, once you're done cleaning and organizing your garage, make sure that you help out the drivers who need to park cars in there to know that they're parked in the right spot. The previous owners of our house had left a tennis ball hanging from the ceiling that they used to help park their cars in there, which was fine. But if the garage was empty, it meant we were walking into this ball all the time. And with young kids around, it also meant some crazy games of tetherball in our garage, which was driving me nuts. To get my car in the right spot, I need to make sure that I don't pull forward too far because we need space to walk in front of the car. So what I figured out was to put a line of yellow tape right behind where I park my car. I put the tape line down right where the garage door comes down behind my car. Then I could look at it in the rear view camera of my car and be able to tell that my car was in the right spot, far enough back, but the garage door wasn't going to hit it when it closed. This has really helped make parking in the garage much less stressful for me. It was so much work to get our garage organized, but I'm so happy with how it turned out. We spent about $300 on the wall cabinets. That wasn't completely necessary, but I'm really happy with how they keep all the things contained and out of the way. The bike rack was about $75. I'm impressed with how well it works to get all 4 of our bikes off the floor. I spent another $100 on various hooks and things, including the wheelbarrow holder and the ceiling hanger for the ladder. Altogether, we spent about $500 on this project. We're really happy with how it turned out. It's so nice to be able to walk freely around the garage and be able to get both cars in there. When the snow comes, I'm going to be ready, and I'll be able to get to my snow shovel. When you get to organizing your garage, I hope this list will help you avoid the same mistakes that I have made over and over again. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.